Kevin Feige made an important executive call about Taskmaster's death. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Taskmaster's death in Thunderbolts * almost looked different before Kevin Feige stepped in and made an adjustment to her send-off. According to Thunderbolts * director Jake Schreier, he presented the scene to Feige where Taskmaster is killed, wanting to know if the Marvel Studios president had any feedback. Feige ultimately changed the timing of the gunshot that killed Taskmaster, resulting in her death being more shocking to the audience. While appearing on the Midnight Boys podcast, shared via YouTube, Thunderbolts * director Jake Schreier discussed the process of making the film and how he understood he wasn't only making the film for himself, but for other people too. I want to make things that I would go see, that I would think were interesting and that were cool, but then the other thing is also, it's not just about me. The way that these movies get made, and I don't feel like it takes anything away from what I did to say that, it's the efforts of so many and you're developing this with so many people like you're in there with Eric Pearson, and with Brian Chapek, and Sonny and Joanna Kahlo, and Kevin Feige, and Lou Desposito. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige made a last-minute change to Taskmaster's death in Thunderbolts * that changed the entire nature of the sequence. Olga Kurylenko's Antonia Dreykov, also known as Taskmaster, returned to the MCU for Thunderbolts * for the first time since 2021's Black Widow. While she was included in a lot of the movie's marketing materials, Taskmaster was killed very early on in the film, which has proven to be quite controversial amongst fans. I think when you've got the person there who's made all the best of the most classic versions of these things, and then he's also saying, make it different, and you're bringing him stuff like, I come from a little bit of a different world that, like, he speaks for a certain side of the fandom. I love a lot of these movies, I speak from my own perspective of what I like in them. I think like if everyone comes with that and you can still say, at the end of the day, that you all like what you're making, you agree that there's something interesting about it, then you just hope it's a good movie and you hope people like it. In the interview, Schreier also talked about what he felt set him apart from other filmmakers in Feige's eyes. One thing the director mentioned about Feige was that he always felt like the movie was never truly finished, and that something could always be improved, particularly using the motto, always be +ing. Schreier then mentioned Kevin Feige as well, revealing exactly how the Marvel boss changed Taskmaster's death in Thunderbolts *. And part of what was fun about it is that if you put something interesting in front of Kevin, he is so good at working with it and he's so good in the edit room. Like, oh, you actually want to land that beat here, so it's kind of off the beat with the music so it feels more like a surprise when Antonia gets shot in the head. And like the next test screening, all of a sudden, you got the gasps that we weren't getting in the one before that. The Thunderbolts * director then mentioned that he understood he was meshing his own perspective with Feige's perspective, and hoped that it would be a good movie that would please all audiences. Schreier's approach to Thunderbolts * and his collaboration with Feige most definitely paid off, as Thunderbolts * is one of the highest-rated MCU films of all time. Thunderbolts * officially released in theaters on May 2nd. Alongside Kurylenko, the film also starred Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Louis Pullman as Sentry, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. I think it's more. I mean, it's good to have a take on what you're doing. I don't know that you have to articulate that full take going into the process, because part of the way Marvel works and what Kevin's so good at is that form of collaboration and this idea that like, I think he calls it like, always be +ing. It's never done. Schreier expanded upon his comments, revealing that he worked well with Feige since he went in every meeting with the mentality that the crew could make the movie better. The one thing you can't do in a Marvel meeting is ever show up and be like, I think we're good. I think this is it. Kevin's always going to look at what you've got, whether it's a script, or concept art, or an edit, and say, some good stuff in here. Some things we could improve. Let's get in it. It doesn't matter whether it was the best or the worst. And so if you meet that also with coming in every meeting being like, I also think we can make this better. I think it's good, but I think we can improve it, then I think that probably works. The approach to the finale of Phase 6 is much different than when Marvel Studios was concluding Phase 3. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. However, Marvel Studios is yet again gearing up for an epic two-part event with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom in Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars. But the uber-successful comic book movie studio is switching up its approach ahead of the highly anticipated Avengers films. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has drawn attention to one key difference between Avengers, Endgame and Avengers, Secret Wars. Fans were left notoriously satisfied with the culmination of the MCU's Infinity Saga with Avengers, Endgame in 2019. Since then, Phases 4 and 5 have been met with mixed reactions, especially due to the influx of 11 seasons of live-action Disney Plus series. As Feige put it, when the studio was preparing for Avengers Endgame, it was a matter of getting to the grand finale of our narrative, and then Marvel Studios start all over again, heading into Phase 4. With Avengers, Secret Wars in 2027 closing out Phase 6 and the Multiverse Saga, Feige explained that they not only know what will happen up to that point, but also beyond. When we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was about reaching the big finale of our narrative, and after that, we had to start everything over. This time, on the way to Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story will be up to that point and beyond. The X-Men are an important part of that future. As Feige also mentioned, the X-Men seem to be a clear focus following Secret Wars, potentially launching a new mutant saga in the MCU. However, Marvel Studios is yet again gearing up for an epic two-part event with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom in Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars. But the uber-successful comic book movie studio is switching up its approach ahead of the highly anticipated Avengers films. Following Marvel Studios firing Jonathan Majors as Kong the Conqueror, Avengers 5 has swiftly changed course. In July 2024, the Russo brothers were confirmed as directors for Avengers, Doomsday, with Christopher McFeely set to write and Downey Jr. returning to the cinematic universe he helped create. While the pressure is on for Doomsday, releasing in nearly 18 months, 2027's Secret Wars will serve a similar purpose to Endgame, concluding a saga. As Feige put it, when the studio was preparing for Avengers Endgame, it was a matter of getting to the grand finale of our narrative, and then Marvel Studios start all over again, heading into Phase 4. With Avengers, Secret Wars in 2027 closing out Phase 6 and the Multiverse Saga, Feige explained that they not only know what will happen up to that point, but also beyond. When we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was about reaching the big finale of our narrative, and after that, we had to start everything over. This time, on the way to Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story will be up to that point and beyond. The X-Men are an important part of that future. As Feige also mentioned, the X-Men seem to be a clear focus following Secret Wars, potentially launching a new mutant saga in the MCU. This is a tall task, even with the endless possibilities of past Marvel characters appearing, similar to the nostalgic cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine. Based on Marvel Comics, likely taking ideas from both the 1985 and 2015 comic book crossover events, there's a multiverse of possibilities. However, given Feige's comments, focusing on the upcoming Avengers films and then putting the focus on X-Men after Phase 6, fans should be excited, even if the multiverse saga had some bumps in the road.